Hello, everyone, and we welcome you into the Pioneer Weekly Recap and, well, final show of the spring. Hello, everyone. I am Brian Staten. As we take a look back at what has gone on, we will address what the future will hold for Tusculum University athletics as a whole, as well as we move on through the show. But there are some awards and some accolades to hand out this week, and a phenomenal week and way to end, I guess you could say, the women's golf season. The women's golfers go down to the Barton Intercollegiate and rally twice and come from behind, 2 shots down in the final round to claim a victory at the Barton Intercollegiate. And leading the way was Jennifer Kime. She fired a 2-over for 2 days. She wins the championship, giving the Pioneers their second tournament championship this season, their first at Mars Hill. Jennifer Kime, firing that 2-over, earned her a chance to be the AstroTurf Golfer of the Week. So congratulations to Jennifer Kine, the senior out of Massachusetts. She shot a 73 1-over over the 2 days as Tusculum does overcome that 2-shot deficit in the final round to win the tournament at the Barton Intercollegiate. Unfortunately for women's golf, they would learn later that that would also be their final tournament of the season as well. But again, congratulations to our final AstroTurf Golfer of the week throughout the South Atlantic Conference as well. Also, congratulations to Tusculum senior guard Mia Long. She was named first team all-conference. She was also named the tournament MVP in the AstroTurf, or I should say the Pilot Flying J South Atlantic Conference tournament. Didn't necessarily earn her an accolade for the AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Player of the Week, but Mia has been named second team All-Southeast Region in women's basketball by the Division II Conference Commissioners Association. She was named first team All-Conference last week. She becomes the first Pioneer since Shanice Whitener was chosen as a first team in 2015-16. For the second straight year, she leads the conference in steals. She led Division II in steals, 112 in steals per game. Her 112 steals this year broke the single season record held by Mitzi Alexander, 1991-1992. She had 109 that year. She was named the most valuable player in the conference tournament championships, leading the Pioneers to their first title since 2011. Led them back in what you could say the promised land as well as they get back to the NCAA tournament, and then that was put to a screeching halt. The Pioneers, the 24-7 Pioneers, winning the most since 2008-2009, had their season come to an end. But one of the teams of the 8 teams in the season or the year that had the opportunity to cut down nets and pick up a trophy when their season was concluded. Not many teams had the opportunity to do that, obviously. A Southeast Region Player of the Year was also the South Atlantic Conference Player of the Year, by the way, out of Anderson, and that was Alexi Molenauer. So congratulations to our South Atlantic Conference representatives as well. In this all-region team, the South Atlantic Conference is highly mentioned. Kayla Marisites of Carson Newman, Braylon Weichel, the freshman, as well. So congratulations to them in the South Atlantic Conference. Moving on from basketball to some lacrosse, men's lacrosse. Congratulations, Liam McDonald, a career record breaker for him. Had a career record-breaking game in their final, but Liam McDonald will finish his career, 143 career points for him. That is the all-time school record. Congratulations to him. And to Dalton Martin, a senior, a guy that's an All-America, All-Region. He's a record breaker. 181 runs scored for a career. Quite impressive for them. Unfortunately, those seasons come to an end. And what does that mean down the road and in the future? Do these seniors get the opportunity to complete? Those are still questions yet to be determined in the future from the NCAA as well. Leads us to our Zaxby's Athletes of the Week as well. So congratulations to Liam McDonald, again, being a record breaker, a trendsetter, I guess you could say, in his finale for the Pioneers this particular season, and a quite impressive win for the lacrosse team as they move on in that record-breaking performance. And Jennifer Kime, the AstroTurf South Atlantic Conference Golfer of the Week, also named as the Zaxby's Athlete of the Week. Our Applebee's Athletes of the Month, congratulations to Brandon Trammell from Pioneer Baseball, just scoring runs left and right, knocking the cover off the ball, slugging at a high percentage, and Mia Long for the Tusculum women, who was named first team all-conference. She was also the South Atlantic Conference Tournament MVP, made the all-tournament team. Obviously, just as we mentioned, a second team all-region selection as well, and also an all-tournament all-region selection as well as the seniors for the women's basketball team were named to that team. Our Applebee's and Zaxby's Athletes of the Week. I don't know how it has affected you, but it has definitely affected the landscape of college basketball, college athletics as a whole in the NCAA tournament when it was announced that that would no longer happen. Everything, all the brakes were just put on it. unprecedented times right now for everything, especially in the NCAA and to the South Atlantic Conference, that had to make the extremely tough call to cancel the entire spring season due to the COVID-19, the coronavirus. They will obviously continue to monitor because this could go well into the summer as well. All practices, all games put on a screeching halt. How that affected the student athletes here on campus at Tusculum University was monumental, to say the least. Myself on the way to an NCAA tournament game, preparing to do that, then being told I couldn't go, making arrangements in order to broadcast the game in some shape, form, or capacity, then being told that it had been canceled as a whole. NBA, Major League Baseball, professional sports. This doesn't just go to the sporting world. This goes to affects our lives. Schools, local schools, churches, community events, gatherings. What this means and what it's all about, we still don't know. But here are some of the numbers that maybe you don't, that might help you wrap your head around it. 325 million Americans. The CDC says basically 21 million people could be affected within the next year over the coronavirus. To put that into perspective, if that is the case, those 21 million people need hospitalization. That's their estimation. There's less than 1 million hospital beds in America. And of those people, respirators will be needed. There's only 155 of those. How do you prevent the spread? Well, you prevent the spread by preventing people from going out into small situations with large crowds. So you cancel a lot of things and you protect what our assets are. Us, me, you. Do your best and do your part and adhere to the rules that have been levied by not only America, but maybe your own family, maybe your local governments and how they are. Just take precautions and we will get through this. It's been tough for a lot of people to accept. Doug Jones, the Vice President of Athletics and Student Initiatives here at Tusculum, had to send out a letter. I encourage you to go online through TusculumPioneers.com and read through the letter. He does address the student athletes and obviously what they have meant not only to this institution, but what they will mean going forward as well, and how this groundbreaking stuff that is happening to us will affect us in the future and maybe some future decisions that will be made. You can go online, check it out, see what he has had to say to the student athletes. And if you are a student athlete and have not had that opportunity to see that as of yet, please go online and read that and how they address it. Tough decision was made by all presidents, by all athletic directors for the South Atlantic Conference to shut down an entire spring season. Obviously unprecedented. A screeching halt for a softball team that was off to one of its best starts ever. A men's volleyball team in its initial year that doesn't even get to finish. Women's bowling doesn't get a chance to finish out their season as well. Some had just really started. Tennis was just getting into a groove, just knocked off Francis Marion. Their baseball teams had gone through all of the weathered situations and were traveling back and forth. Lacrosse, they were in a situation where they were tied for first in the South Atlantic Conference, for crying out loud, and one of the best conferences now in America, as LR had knocked off the #1 team in the nation in Limestone. Now Limestone will join the South Atlantic Conference next year. There's a lot of groundbreaking stuff that was happening, not only for us, but also in the South Atlantic Conference. We'll see how that shakes out after all of this is said and done. It's been a phenomenal year, and unfortunately this will be the last time we'll address you this particular season. But looking forward, once the summer gets through and we get ready for the fall once again. So many people behind the scenes that put so much effort into putting this show together. I just sit here and talk. They tell me what they put up, and then I just talk about it. So thanks to Nick Forsberg, thanks to Zach Hartle, Dom Donnelly, Jim Miller, Jessica Biggers, and all the coaches that have made their appearances here on this show this year with me to brave that. Because I can be very talkative. It's tough for me to shut my mouth enough to listen to what they actually have to say. And hopefully for you that have tuned in each week, just a little glimpse of what the Tusculum University athletics is really all about and how proud we are of our student athletes, despite telling them that they have to turn around and go home and they're not allowed to come back on our campus because of the carelessness of a few and how it affects the many. Until next year, I'm Brian Staten, wishing you and yours the very best. And stay clean, stay healthy, follow the rules, and we'll get through this as well. And until next season, go Pioneers.